Captain Alex Turner stood on the bridge of the Federation battleship Defiant, watching the stars drift past through the main viewing screen. 200 years had passed since humans joined the Galactic Federation, and Alex believed they had found their place among the stars. The Federation brought together 12 different alien species, each one adding something special to their shared civilization. Alex commanded one of the Federation's most powerful warships. His crew came from many different worlds. Commander Lisa Brooks, his second-in-command, was human like him. She grew up believing the Federation was humanity's greatest achievement. The ship also carried Zephyrians, who were very smart and good at solving problems. The Karathi were masters of technology, always improving their weapons and ships. The Veltans were skilled at talking and making peace between different groups. For nearly 20 years, Alex had served the Federation faithfully. He fought pirates, who attacked merchant ships. He helped settle disputes between different worlds. He protected innocent people from those who would harm them. The work felt good and right. Humans were known throughout the galaxy as the Federation's best fighters. They could adapt to any situation and survive things that would kill other species. On this day, the Defiant was patrolling the outer edge of Federation space. These were dangerous areas where pirates and other criminals liked to hide. Alex was reading reports in his ready room when an alarm started beeping. Lisa's voice came through the ship's communication system. "Captain, we're getting a distress signal from mining station Alpha 7. They say they're under attack." Alex hurried to the bridge. The mining station was only 2 hours away at full speed. "Set course for Alpha 7. Maximum speed," he ordered. The Defiant raced through space toward the mining station. Alex tried to contact them several times but got no answer. This worried him. Mining stations always had someone watching the communications. When they arrived at Alpha 7, Alex felt sick. The mining station was completely destroyed. Pieces of metal and rock floated in space where the station used to be. Emergency lights flashed on some of the bigger pieces, but most of the station was dark and cold. "Scan for survivors," Alex told his crew. The ship's sensors searched through the wreckage. After several minutes, they found one life sign. It was very weak, but someone was still alive in a small emergency pod. "Bring them aboard immediately," Alex ordered. The rescue team brought back a human man who was badly hurt. His name was Pete Morrison, and he worked as an engineer on the station. Dr. Amy Foster, the ship's doctor, tried to help him, but his injuries were too serious. "What happened here?" Alex asked Pete as he lay dying in the medical bay. Pete grabbed Alex's arm with surprising strength. His eyes were wide with fear. "The old ones," he whispered. "They remember what we forgot. The weapons. They weren't pirates. Federation weapons, but different. Modified." "Who attacked you?" Alex pressed. "Never trust them," Pete said, his voice getting weaker. "The oldest rule, never betray the humans. But they did. They did." His hand fell away, and Pete Morrison died. Alex stared at the dead man. Pete's words made no sense. Federation weapons? The Federation was humanity's ally. They had saved Earth from destruction centuries ago. Why would Pete say such things? Lisa ran scans on the wreckage while Alex thought about Pete's words. "Captain," she said, "he was right about the weapons. These blast patterns match Federation energy cannons, but they've been changed somehow, made more powerful. Pirates steal Federation weapons all the time," Alex said. But even he didn't believe it. "Not like this," Lisa replied. "These modifications require advanced knowledge of Federation technology. Most pirates aren't smart enough for this kind of work." Alex ordered his crew to collect all the evidence they could find. He wanted to understand what really happened at Alpha 7. The more they searched, the more questions they had. The attack was too organized for pirates, too precise. Someone had wanted to destroy everything and everyone on the station. When they returned to Federation headquarters, Alex reported the incident to High Chancellor Vextar, the Zephyrian who led the Federation Council. Vextar listened to Alex's report without showing any emotion. Engineer Morrison was clearly traumatized by the attack, Vextar said when Alex finished. Humans often imagine conspiracies when they experience severe trauma. It helps them cope with tragedy. But the weapon modifications, Alex started. Pirates are becoming more sophisticated, Vextar interrupted. We will increase security patrols in that sector. Thank you for your report, Captain Turner. Alex left the meeting feeling confused and angry. Vextar had dismissed Pete's dying words without even considering them. That wasn't like the careful, thoughtful Zephyrians Alex knew. Over the next few weeks, Alex heard about similar attacks on other remote stations and outposts. Each time, the few survivors told strange stories about betrayal and old secrets. Each time, Federation officials said the survivors were confused or traumatized. Each time, the evidence pointed to modified Federation weapons. Alex began collecting information on his own. He used his security clearance to access Federation databases. He studied attack patterns and weapon signatures. What he found disturbed him greatly. The attacks weren't random. Someone was targeting specific places that held old research data and ancient artifacts. Places that studied the history of the galaxy before the Federation existed. Places that might contain secrets. Lisa helped him with his investigation. She was young and idealistic, but she was also smart and good with computers. Together, they discovered that many of these destroyed facilities had been studying something called the Devourer Wars, conflicts that happened thousands of years ago. Why would someone want to destroy information about ancient history? Lisa asked. Alex didn't know, but he was starting to suspect that Pete Morrison had been telling the truth. Something was very wrong with the Federation, and it had to do with secrets from the past. One night, Alex was in his quarters studying the data when his door chimed. A young ensign entered, looking nervous. Captain, I have a message for you. The person who sent it said to tell you that Engineer Morrison wasn't crazy. The ensign handed Alex a small data chip and left quickly. Alex inserted the chip into his computer. A message appeared on his screen. If you want to know the truth about humanity and the Federation, meet me at coordinates 127.4 by 89.7 in the Vega system. Come alone. Trust no one else. Alex stared at the message. Part of him wanted to ignore it and continue serving the Federation faithfully. But Pete Morrison's dying words kept echoing in his mind. Never betray the humans. But they did. The next morning, Alex requested permission to take a small scout ship on a personal mission. He told his superiors he needed time to think after the traumatic events at Alpha 7. They agreed, not knowing that Alex was about to discover the truth that would change everything for humanity and the galaxy. Alex flew his small scout ship through space toward the coordinates from the mysterious message. The Vega system was far from the main trade routes, a place where someone could meet without being seen. As he approached the meeting point, another ship appeared on his sensors. It was old but well-maintained, clearly modified for stealth operations. A voice came through his communication system. Captain Turner, please dock with our ship. We have much to discuss. Alex docked his scout ship to the larger vessel. When he stepped through the airlock, he found himself facing an elderly human woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She wore simple clothes, but carried herself like someone used to command. I'm Dr. Karen White, she said. I was a xenoarchaeologist for the Federation until I learned too much. Learned what? Alex asked. The truth about why humans really joined the Federation, Karen replied. Follow me. She led him through the ship to a room filled with ancient artifacts and old documents. Alex had never seen anything like them. Strange symbols covered stone, tablets, metal objects hummed with unknown energy. 200 years ago, Karen began, the Federation didn't invite humans to join them. They conquered us, but not with weapons. They used something much more effective. They made us desperate for help. Alex shook his head. That's not what the history books say. The Federation saved Earth from environmental collapse and alien invasions. Who do you think caused those problems? Karen asked. The Karathi secretly poisoned our oceans with their industrial waste, making it look like human pollution. The Veltans stirred up conflicts between Earth's nations, making us fight each other. The Zephyrians hacked our computer systems and made our technology fail. You're talking about a massive conspiracy, Alex said. Why would they do that? Karen activated a holographic display. Ancient images appeared in the air between them. Alex saw creatures he had never seen before, dark, insect-like beings with multiple arms and glowing eyes. These are the Devourers, Karen said. Thousands of years ago, they nearly destroyed all life in the galaxy. They consume organic matter to fuel their technology. Entire civilizations vanished before them. The images showed massive battles in space. Ships exploded in silent flashes of light. Planets turned from green and blue to gray and dead. The elder species, the Zephyrians, Karathi, and Veltans, barely defeated them in a war that lasted centuries. But they knew the Devourers would return someday. They've been preparing ever since. What does this have to do with humans? Alex asked. Everything, Karen said. The elder species studied every race in the galaxy, looking for natural warriors. Most species are either too peaceful or too predictable. But humans are different. You adapt. You survive. You find ways to win even when you should lose. Alex felt cold as he began to understand. They wanted us as soldiers. Not just soldiers, weapons. The Federation has been studying human behavior for 2 centuries, learning how you fight, how you think, how you react under pressure. They've been preparing to use you as their frontline troops when the Devourers return. Karen showed him more evidence. Secret documents revealed Federation experiments on human prisoners. Military reports analyzed human tactics in every conflict. Psychological studies examined what motivated humans to fight. We were never partners, Alex said quietly. We were always meant to be tools. Tools that were supposed to be thrown away when they were no longer needed. Karen confirmed. But something went wrong with their plan. Humans integrated too well into Federation society. You made friends with other species. You earned respect and loyalty. Some Federation members started to question whether using humans as expendable troops was right. So they're trying to fix their mistake, Alex realized. The attacks on research stations. They're destroying evidence of the original plan. And eliminating anyone who might know the truth, Karen added. Including humans who ask too many questions. Alex thought about his orders to patrol the Outer Rim, where Devourer scouts had reportedly been seen. He thought about the dangerous missions human crews were always assigned to first. Everything made horrible sense now. How do you know all this? He asked. Because I helped plan some of it, Karen said sadly. 20 years ago, I was part of a Federation research team studying ancient civilizations. We found Devourer hibernation sites throughout the galaxy, dead worlds that were actually sleeping grounds for their fleets. She showed him star charts marked with red symbols. Dozens of systems that the Federation claimed were uninhabitable or unimportant. The Devourers aren't extinct, Karen continued. They're sleeping, waiting for the right conditions to wake up. The Federation knows exactly where they are and when they'll return. They've been preparing humanity to fight them while the elder species evacuate to distant galaxies. That's why. You left the Federation? Alex asked. I tried to warn people from the inside, but no one would listen. The conspiracy goes too deep. So I stole as much evidence as I could and went into hiding. I've been trying to contact humans who might listen ever since. Alex looked at all the evidence surrounding him. Ancient artifacts, stolen documents, secret recordings. It all painted the same picture. Humanity had been manipulated and betrayed from the very beginning. There's something else, Karen said. The attacks on research stations aren't just about hiding the past. They're preparation for the future. The Federation is getting ready to abandon human space entirely. They want to remove all evidence of their involvement before they leave. Us to face the Devourers alone. How long do we have? Alex asked. Based on the Devourer sleep cycles and the Federation's withdrawal timeline, maybe 2 years before they wake up. Maybe less. Alex felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. He was just one ship captain, but he might be humanity's only hope of learning the truth in time to do something about it. What can we do? He asked. We need to warn other humans, Karen said. Military commanders, colony leaders, Anyone with influence. We need to prepare for the day when the Federation abandons us. They won't believe it, Alex said. I barely believe it myself. Some will, Karen replied. Humans have good instincts about betrayal. And there are others like you, people who've noticed things don't add up. We just need to find them. Alex made his decision. I'll help you, but I need to go back to my ship first. There are people I trust who need to know about this. Be careful, Karen warned. The Federation is watching, human commanders closely now. If they suspect you know the truth, they'll eliminate me like they eliminated Pete Morrison, Alex finished. As Alex prepared to leave, Karen gave him a small device. This will help you contact other Resistance members. Use it only when you're sure you're not being watched. Alex returned to his scout ship with his mind racing. Everything he had believed about the Federation, about humanity's place in the galaxy, about his own purpose, all of it was a lie. As he flew back toward his battleship, he began planning how to tell Lisa and his other trusted crew members the truth. But when he arrived at the Defiant, he found Federation security officers waiting for him. Commander Lisa Brooks was nowhere to be seen. Captain Turner, the lead officer said, "You're needed for questioning about irregularities in your recent activities." Alex realized that his investigation had been discovered. The trap was closing around him, and he might already be too late to save his crew or warn humanity about what was coming. Alex kept his face calm as the Federation security officers led him through the corridors of his own ship. Inside, his mind raced with plans. He needed to find out what happened to Lisa and warn his crew about the danger they all faced. The officers took him to a conference room where High Chancellor Vextar waited with several other alien officials. The Zephyrian's large eyes showed no emotion as Alex entered. "Captain Turner," Vextar said in his soft voice, "we understand you've been investigating the mining station attacks on your own time." "I was trying to understand what happened," Alex replied carefully. "Your dedication is admirable but unnecessary. We have specialists handling these matters. Your unauthorized activities have raised concerns about your mental state." Alex recognized the trap. They were going to declare him unfit for duty, just like they had dismissed Pete Morrison's warnings as trauma-induced fantasies. "Where is Commander Brooks?" Alex asked. "She has been reassigned," another official answered, "for her own safety, given your recent erratic behavior." "I demand to see her." "That won't be possible," Vextar said. "Captain, you're being relieved of command pending a psychological evaluation. Report to Dr. Keller on Starbase 9 immediately." Alex knew Dr. Keller's reputation. Humans who went to him for evaluation rarely returned to active duty. Some never returned at all. "I understand," Alex said, pretending to accept their decision. The security officers escorted him to a transport ship. As they traveled toward Starbase 9, Alex used the time to think. Karen White had given him a communication device, but he couldn't use it while under guard. He needed to escape before they reached the starbase. During a routine rest stop at a supply station, Alex made his move. He overpowered his guards using combat techniques they didn't expect and stole a small cargo ship. As alarms sounded behind him, he jumped to hyperspace and disappeared. Alex activated Karen's communication device once he was safely away. A network of voices responded, humans throughout the galaxy who had been waiting for this moment. He wasn't alone. His first contact was Lieutenant Colonel Jake Patterson, commanding a Marine battalion on the frontier world of New Montana. Jake's voice was grim as he spoke through the encrypted channel. "Captain Turner, we've been expecting someone like you to make contact. Things are bad out here. The Federation keeps sending us on suicide missions while their own troops stay safe in rear positions." "What kind of missions?" Alex asked. 2 weeks ago, they sent my Marines to clear out a pirate base with no backup and faulty intelligence. We lost 40% of our force, but the pirates weren't there. Instead, we found Federation equipment and abandoned research facilities. Another voice joined the conversation. Major Susan Davis commanded a reconnaissance unit in the outer sectors. "Same thing happened to us. The Federation claimed we were investigating alien ruins. but what we found were human settlements that had been wiped out. Recent ones. How? Recent? Alex asked. Days, maybe weeks. Someone had been systematically destroying human colonies and making it look like pirate attacks. The picture became clearer as more voices joined the network. Human commanders across the galaxy reported similar experiences. Dangerous assignments with false intelligence. Missing supply shipments that left human forces vulnerable. Communications. Blackouts during critical operations. The Resistance Network led Alex to a secret meeting on an abandoned mining asteroid. When he arrived, he found dozens of humans waiting for him. Some were military officers like himself. Others were civilian leaders, scientists and engineers who had noticed something was wrong with the Federation. The meeting was led by an old man with steel-gray hair and the bearing of a lifetime soldier. He introduced himself as General Robert Hayes. I've been preparing for this day for 30 years, Hayes said. Ever since I fought in the Proxima War and saw how the Federation used human troops as disposable assets. Hayes activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy divided into sectors. Red zones marked areas where human forces were concentrated. Blue zones showed where Federation troops were stationed. Look at the pattern, Hayes said. Every major human military base is positioned on the front lines facing potential threats. Every Federation base is in safe, protected areas behind human positions. They're using us as a buffer, Major Davis realized. Not just a buffer, Hayes replied. Bait. When the real threat comes, we'll be the first to die while they decide whether to help us or abandon us entirely. Alex shared what he had learned from Karen White about the Devourers and the Federation's real plans. The room fell silent as he described the ancient enemy that was sleeping throughout the galaxy. So we're not just expendable soldiers, Jake, Patterson said quietly. We're a sacrifice to buy them time to escape. That's why I've been building this network, Hayes explained. Humans serving throughout the galaxy who remember that our first loyalty is to our own species, not to the Federation that enslaves us. Hayes showed them hidden supply depots and secret bases that the Resistance had established over the decades, weapons, ships and equipment that had been quietly diverted from Federation forces and stored for the day when humanity would need to stand alone. But we need more than supplies, Hayes continued. We need information. Dr. Karen White has been invaluable in revealing the Federation's deception, but we need to know exactly when and how they plan to abandon us. Alex volunteered to infiltrate the Federation's command structure. His escape had probably convinced them he was dangerous, but they might not realize how much he actually knew. Too risky, Hayes decided. They'll be watching for you specifically, but there might be another way. Hayes explained that Lisa Brooks hadn't been reassigned. She had been arrested and was being held on charges of conspiracy. The Federation planned to use her as leverage against Alex, but the Resistance could turn that situation to their advantage. If we rescue her, we might be able to access the information she gathered during your investigation, Hayes said. Commander Brooks had high-level security clearance. She might have copied files that could expose the full extent of the Federation's plans. Alex immediately volunteered for the rescue mission, but Hayes shook his head. This needs to be bigger than one rescue, Hayes said. It's time to show the Federation that humanity won't go quietly into the dark. Jake, I want you to liberate the human prisoners on Detention Station Omega. Susan, your reconnaissance teams need to start documenting Federation war crimes for the galaxy to see. What about the other species? Alex asked. Some of them might be willing to help us if they knew the truth. Maybe, Hayes agreed. But for now, we trust only humans. The Federation has had 2 centuries to corrupt the other species. We don't know who we can count on. As the meeting broke up, Alex received a private message from Hayes. The old general's eyes were sad but determined. Captain, there's something else you need to know. The attacks on human colonies weren't just to hide evidence. The Federation has been conducting experiments on human prisoners. They're trying to understand what makes us such effective fighters so they can create artificial versions of human troops. Clones? Alex asked. Worse. They're trying to extract the essence of human determination and aggression and implant it into other species. They want disposable soldiers with human abilities but without human independence. Alex felt sick. The Federation's betrayal was even deeper than he had imagined. That's why we can't wait much longer, Hayes continued. Every day we delay gives them more time to perfect their experiments and complete their preparations to abandon us. As Alex left the meeting, he carried new orders from General Hayes. He would lead a team to rescue Lisa and any other human prisoners they could find. But more importantly, he would help coordinate the Resistance's next phase, revealing the truth to the entire galaxy and preparing for the war that was coming. The Federation had made one critical error in their centuries-long plan. They had underestimated what humans would do when they discovered they had been betrayed. Now they were about to learn why the oldest rule in the galaxy existed. Never betray the humans because they never forget and they never forgive. Alex led a small fleet of resistance ships toward Detention Station Omega, a massive prison facility floating in deep space. The station held thousands of prisoners from across the galaxy, but Alex was only interested in the humans who had been arrested for asking too many questions. His team included Jake Patterson's Marine Commandos and several pilots who had stolen Federation ships to join the Resistance. They approached the station using false identification codes that Susan Davis had obtained from her reconnaissance work. "This is Transport 77 requesting docking permission," Alex transmitted to the station. "Permission granted. Transport 77. Proceed to Docking Bay 4. As their ships docked with the massive station, Alex reviewed the rescue plan. They would split into 3 teams. One to rescue Lisa and the other human prisoners, one to download the station's computer files, and one to plant explosives that would destroy the evidence of Federation crimes after they escaped. The teams moved through the station's corridors, stunning guards with stolen Federation weapons. The Resistance had learned to fight dirty, using the Federation's own tactics against them. They had become ghosts, striking quickly and disappearing before the enemy could respond. Alex found Lisa in a maximum security cell, weak from interrogation but alive. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "Alex, how did you find me?" "Long story," he said, helping her stand. "Can you walk?" "I think so." "Alex, I managed to hide data chips before they arrested me. Information about the Federation's real plans." "Where?" "In my quarters on the Defiant, hidden in the wall behind my desk." Alex's team rescued 47 human prisoners and downloaded terabytes of classified Federation files before the station's alarms finally sounded. As security forces rushed toward the prison levels, Alex triggered the explosives that destroyed the evidence of illegal experiments on human prisoners. They escaped just as Federation reinforcements arrived, jumping to hyperspace in several directions to confuse pursuit. The rescue mission was a success, but Alex knew it was just the beginning. While Alex was freeing prisoners, other resistance cells struck throughout the galaxy. General Hayes coordinated attacks on Federation communication centers, cutting off their ability to coordinate responses. Major Davis led raids on supply depots, capturing weapons and equipment that would soon be needed for the larger war to come. But the most important battle was happening at Earth itself. Admiral Chris Morgan commanded Earth's defense forces from his flagship, the battleship Freedom. When Federation fleets arrived in the Sol system demanding humanity's surrender, Morgan was ready for them. "Federation fleet, this is Admiral Morgan. You are not welcome in human space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The Federation commander, a Karathi named Thekvor, responded with arrogance. "Admiral Morgan, your species has been declared in violation of Federation law. Surrender now and your colonies will be spared." "Our colonies are no longer part of your Federation," Morgan replied. "As of today, humanity withdraws from all Federation treaties and agreements." "You cannot survive without Federation support," Thekvor said. "We're about to prove you wrong." The battle for Earth lasted 3 days and shocked the galaxy. The Federation had expected human forces to collapse quickly once cut off from alien technology and support. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that had secretly prepared for this moment for decades. Human ships emerged from hidden bases throughout the solar system. Asteroid mining stations revealed themselves to be disguised weapons platforms. The moon itself opened up to launch squadrons of fighters that no one knew existed. General Patricia Stone coordinated the ground defenses from her command bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains. When Federation troops landed on Earth's surface, they found that humans had turned entire continents into fortresses. They're using tactics we've never seen before. One Federation officer reported to his commanders. Their weapons are primitive compared to ours, but they're using them in ways that nullify our technological advantages. The Federation had made a critical error. They had studied human military history and tactics, but they had always focused on how humans fought when they had alien support and advanced technology. They had never considered how humans would fight when they had nothing left to lose. Humans used the environment as a weapon, collapsing tunnels to trap Federation forces underground. They turned civilian infrastructure into military assets, using communication networks to coordinate attacks and transportation systems to move troops. They fought like cornered animals because that's exactly what they were. On the third day of the battle, Alex's resistance fleet arrived in the Sol system. The data that Lisa had hidden revealed the Federation's complete withdrawal plan, including the locations of their command ships and supply bases. Admiral Morgan, Alex transmitted to the Earth Defense Forces, "We have intelligence on Federation, fleet positions and movements. Good to hear from you, Captain Turner. We can use all the help we can get." Alex's ships joined the battle just as Federation reinforcements arrived. The fighting was brutal and desperate, but humans had one advantage the Federation hadn't counted on. They were fighting for their homes and families, while the Federation forces were fighting for leaders who planned to abandon them. The tide turned when Dr. Karen White made a galaxy-wide broadcast from a hidden transmitter. Her message reached every world in Federation space, revealing the truth about humanity's enslavement and the coming devourer threat. "People of the galaxy," she said, "your leaders have lied to you for centuries. They have enslaved an entire species and plan to sacrifice them to save themselves from an ancient enemy. But the devourers are everyone's problem, not just humanity's. If we don't stand together now, we'll all fall separately later." The broadcast included evidence of Federation crimes, secret experiments, murdered prisoners, destroyed colonies, and the conspiracy to use humans as expendable weapons. The evidence was overwhelming and undeniable. Across the galaxy, other species began to question their governments. Some demanded to know why their leaders had participated in such crimes. Others declared their neutrality in the conflict between humans and the Federation. A few, horrified by what they learned, openly joined the human resistance. On the fourth day of the battle, several Federation ships in the Sol system surrendered to human forces. Their crews, mostly younger aliens who hadn't known about the conspiracy, refused to continue fighting for leaders they no longer trusted. Admiral Morgan accepted their surrender and made them an offer. "Join us in preparing for the real threat. That's coming. Help us face the devourers as equals, not as masters and slaves." The Battle of Earth ended not with total victory, but with a new understanding throughout the galaxy. The Federation's authority had been shattered by their own betrayal. Trust between species would have to be rebuilt from scratch, based on honesty rather than deception. As the Federation fleets retreated from human space, Alex stood on the bridge of his captured Federation cruiser, now renamed the Liberation. General Hayes had given him a new mission: to find and monitor the devourer hibernation sites that Dr. Karen White had identified. The Federation was right about one thing, Hayes said over the communication system. "The devourers are going to wake up eventually. But when they do, we'll face them on our own terms as free beings defending our homes, not as enslaved soldiers fighting someone else's war." Alex looked at the star charts showing devourer sites throughout the galaxy. Red markers indicated sleeping fleets that could wake at any time. The war with the Federation was over, but the real test of human survival was still to come. "Lisa," he said to his restored first officer, "set course for the Centauri system. We have ancient enemies to watch and new allies to protect." As the Liberation jumped to hyperspace, Alex reflected on how much had changed. Humanity had broken free from centuries of manipulation, but freedom came with the responsibility to face their own dangers. The galaxy would never be the same, and humans would make sure it was never again built on lies and betrayal. 6 months after the Battle of Earth, Alex Turner stood in the command center of Monitoring Station Alpha, humanity's first outpost near a devourer hibernation site. The station was built into a large asteroid in the Centauri system, hidden from casual observation but equipped with the most advanced sensors humans could build. Any changes in the sleep signatures? Alex asked Dr. Amy Foster, who now served as the station's chief science officer. Still dormant, Amy replied, studying the readings on her screens. But the energy patterns are different from last month. Stronger, more organized. I think they're starting to dream. Through the station's main viewing port, Alex could see nothing but empty space. But he knew that hidden in the dark matter streams flowing through this system were massive ships carrying millions of devourers, waiting for the right moment to wake up and continue their ancient mission of consuming all organic life. Lisa Brooks entered the command center carrying a data pad with the latest reports from Earth. She had recovered fully from her imprisonment, and now served as Alex's second-in-command at the monitoring station. The Earth Alliance Council has approved your request for more monitoring stations, she told Alex. We'll have eyes on 12 devourer sites within the next year. Freighter Alliance was humanity's answer to the collapsed Galactic Federation. Unlike the Federation, membership was voluntary and based on mutual respect rather than domination. Several alien species had joined after learning the truth about the Federation's crimes. What about the Federation remnants? Alex asked. Still, withdrawing to the outer galaxy, Lisa replied. The Zephyrians have established a new government that claims to support reform, but General Hayes doesn't trust them. The Karathi are fighting a civil war between those who supported the conspiracy and those who opposed it. The Veltans have gone completely silent. Alex nodded. The old Federation's collapse had created chaos throughout the galaxy, but it also created opportunities for new, better relationships between species. Some former Federation worlds had chosen to remain independent. Others had joined regional alliances based on geography or common interests. A few had requested membership in the Earth Alliance. Sir, a technician called out, we're receiving a transmission from General Hayes. Hayes appeared on the main screen from his office on Earth. The old soldier looked tired but determined. Alex, we need to discuss the Proxima situation. The Veltans have made contact through diplomatic channels. They want to negotiate. Negotiate what? Alex asked. They claim they were manipulated by the Zephyrians and Karathi into participating in the conspiracy against humanity. They want to make amends and share their knowledge about the Devourers. Alex was suspicious. What kind of knowledge? According to their message, they have records of the original Devourer War that the other species destroyed. Information about Devourer weaknesses and how they were defeated before. It could be a trap, Lisa warned. It could be, Hayes agreed. But if they're telling the truth, this information could save millions of lives when the Devourers wake up. Alex considered the situation. The Veltans were known for their diplomatic skills, but they were also master manipulators. After centuries of deception, it was hard to trust any of the elder species. What do you want me to do? Alex asked. Meet with them, Hayes said, but not alone. Take a full diplomatic team and enough firepower to protect yourselves if things go wrong. 2 weeks later, Alex's ship, now called the Vindication, arrived at the neutral meeting point in the Tau Ceti system. The Veltan delegation was waiting in a single unarmed vessel, a sign of either genuine peaceful intentions or supreme confidence in their own safety. The Veltan ambassador was an elderly female named Selen, who had served in their government for over a century. She greeted Alex with the traditional Veltan gesture of open hands, showing she carried no weapons. Captain Turner, she said in perfect English, thank you for agreeing to this meeting. I know trust is difficult after what my people helped do to yours. Why should we believe anything you tell us? Alex asked directly. Selen activated a holographic display that showed ancient star charts and battle formations. Because, she said, we were the ones who figured out how to defeat the Devourers the first time. The display showed the original Devourer War in detail. Alex saw massive fleets of organic ships swarming through space, consuming everything in their path. He saw entire solar systems stripped of life, their planets turned into barren rocks. The Devourers feed on biological energy, Selen explained. They grow stronger by consuming living beings. The more they eat, the more powerful they become. Traditional warfare only made them stronger. Then how were they stopped? Lisa asked. By turning their greatest strength into a weakness. We discovered that devourers can't distinguish between different types of biological energy. If you feed them the right kind of modified organic matter, you can poison them. The hologram showed Veltan scientists working with samples of devourer tissue. They had developed a synthetic biological compound that looked like normal organic matter to devourer sensors, but was actually toxic to their systems. We called it the Death Feast, Selen said. Billions of specially modified organisms that looked like regular food to the devourers. When they consumed them, the poison spread through their entire fleet network. Why didn't the other species preserve this knowledge? Alex demanded. Because they were afraid, Selen replied. The Death Feast required understanding devourer biology at a level that some considered too dangerous. They worried that species might use the knowledge to create bioweapons against each other. Alex studied the data Selen provided. It was incredibly detailed and scientifically sound. Creating the Death Feast would require resources and knowledge that only a galaxy-wide alliance could provide. Even if this is real, Alex said, why are you sharing it with us now? Because we know what's coming, Selen answered. Our long-range sensors have detected changes in devourer sleep patterns throughout the galaxy. They're going to wake up within the next 2 years, whether we're ready or not. And you think humanity should lead the fight against them? I think humanity is the only species with the courage and determination to do what's necessary. The elder species will try to find safe places to hide. The newer species will panic or surrender. But humans will fight even when there's no hope of victory. After 3 days of meetings, Alex returned to Earth with the Veltan data. General Hayes assembled a team of the best human scientists to verify the information. Dr. Karen White led the analysis. It's real, she announced after a week of intensive study. The Veltans aren't lying about this. The Death Feast could work, but we'd need cooperation from multiple species to produce it in sufficient quantities. Are there species we can trust? Hayes asked. Some, Karen replied. The Altarians never fully joined the Federation conspiracy. The Rigel colonies have been honest in their dealings with us. A few others have proven themselves reliable. Hayes made the decision that would define humanity's future. We'll share this knowledge with our allies and work together to prepare for the Devourer awakening. But we do it as equals, with full transparency and honest cooperation. The next 18 months were a time of intense preparation. Human-led research teams worked with alien scientists to develop and produce the Death Feast. Monitoring stations were established near every known Devourer hibernation site. Defense fleets were positioned throughout the galaxy, ready to coordinate. Their response when the ancient enemy finally woke, Alex found himself promoted to Admiral and placed in command of the Joint Species Fleet protecting the core worlds. It was a responsibility he had never wanted but couldn't refuse. On a quiet evening at Monitoring Station Alpha, Alex stood with Lisa looking out at the stars. Soon, those stars would be battlefields again. Do you think we're ready? Lisa asked. I think we're as ready as we can be, Alex replied. But more importantly, we're facing this threat as free beings making our own choices, not as slaves following orders. The Federation was right about one thing, Lisa said. Humans really are natural warriors. Maybe, Alex agreed. But we're also natural protectors. When the Devourers wake up, they won't find the same galaxy that existed during their first war. They'll find species that have learned to work together, led by humans who will never again allow themselves to be used as tools. As if summoned by their conversation, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Amy Foster's voice came over the communication system. All hands to stations. The Centauri hibernation site is showing massive energy spikes. The Devourers are waking up. Alex and Lisa rushed to the command center where screens showed the dark matter streams beginning to glow with malevolent energy. After thousands of years of sleep, the galaxy's most ancient enemy was stirring. Send the alert to all monitoring stations and defense fleets, Alex ordered. This is Admiral Turner to all Allied forces. The Devourer War has begun. Remember, we fight not as subjects of distant masters, but as free beings defending our homes. Today we prove that the oldest rule in the galaxy still holds true. Never betray those who trusted you, because they will never forget and they will never forgive. As the Vindication and her fleet moved to intercept the awakening Devourers, Alex thought about how far humanity had come. They had,